This is a full review on the G&G LevAR 15, and I don't think there's a single thing that you can do to help me understand what in the holy heck this thing even is. It's almost like G&G as a whole forgot they're an airsoft manufacturer entirely, and decided today was the day that they wanted to pursue their lifelong dream as mad scientists. And thanks to that, this genetically modified freak has the legs of a lever action and the torso of an AR-15. Whether you're the kind of person that seeks this sort of stuff out, or you're the kind of person that when you see this you want to pull your hair out, this thing definitely has a few tricks up its sleeve. We're talking readily available AEG mags, and yet still being cool enough to run on gas. Do me a favor, don't get ahead of yourself too fast. We're going to do that right after the unboxing. A standard G&G box, looking kind of like a toy out of the 90s, to help us showcase one of the freakiest beasts you'll ever lay your eyes on. Now inside the box you'll find just the G&G LevAR 15, the single mag, and of course your instruction manual. But two things I love about this box is the QR code instruction manual that you can use if you don't want the paper one. And if you choose to pull out the cardboard insert, you're left with a foam insert that is perfectly cut out for the G&G LevAR 15. So you can just use this in any carrying case that will fit. We'll go ahead and yoink this out of the box and toss this aside. Actually, I still need that. Why don't we work our way from front to back? As you may expect, the federally mandated tip at the front that it comes with had a one-way ticket to the local landfill, and that's because my state only requires them to be shipped, not to be kept on. Now, where this new muzzle brake comes with some extra larger threads for a different muzzle attachment if you so please, it also hides a secret 14mm counterclockwise thread under it, plus a small grub screw in case you want to lock that guy onto the barrel so it doesn't fall off. You'd be reluctant to know that rail space on this beautiful monstrosity is not something that we're lacking. We not only have a massive rail that goes all the way along the entire LevAR, but also a rail on the side, left, and right, and then a small space on the base. And alongside that, you also have some M-lock if you so please. With that rail will also come a QD point in the front left, a QD point in the mid left, and then the same thing ambidextrous on the right and left as well. Taking a look on that rail, you'll see two sets of iron sights here, which are honestly phenomenal, and I love that G&G includes these, even though chances are I won't necessarily be using them. I'll probably throw an optic on here. It is so cool that they add them. These come with fiber optics in the front, which are red, and then two fiber optics in the back, which are green. And in case you want to rise those up and then adjust them for your elevation, you can, which is a nice, light, but easy to move clicking motion. And then the rears are windage adjustable. As we get into the mag and the magwell area, it is tiny, but it is not restricted, and I'll explain why. So the LevAR actually collects mag releases, kind of like most people collect Pokemon cards. There are three. There's a mag release here, and then on the opposing side, there's a mag release here, and then a mag release here. You can just literally press anywhere and release the mag. Now, as for the mag, it is this tiny little funky looking doohickey, but it's just the small top and shortened, different looking model of a standard AEG M4 mag, which comes in handy because if you have any AEG M4 mags laying around, which chances are you do, they'll work with the G&G LevAR. Ah yes, the rear, where all the magic happens, such as your safety, safe, and fire, and that is actually not ambidextrous, which is super unique. The hammer, which can be pulled back and released if you don't feel like using the lever action, which I just don't understand why you wouldn't. The lever action. And I know you all want to see how the trigger is, so we'll just take a look now. Ooh. That is super soft. There's not even like a noticeable break there. That is so weird. Yeah, nothing signifies when the hammer's going to drop. It's just mush until it lets go. And inside the grip holds all of your power. You have a small little rail point in case you want to attach a stock, and this is also where you fill your gas, because the gas reservoir is inside the grip. Now, one last thing is the hop-up. How do we access the hop-up? Well, when we rack this guy back, you can see that this small little ejection port window opens, and we have the hop-up adjustment wheel right there. This guy is super convenient. It actually has a small little section up in the front that says up, and you notice that rotating it up now with some light clicks will increase our hop, and then bringing it down will decrease our hop. So that's really cool. And now we test. And just for reference, every single BB that's going to be shot in this video will be .25s. We will be using some Lancer Tactical green gas. This is the high pressure, so equivalent to red gas. And the temperature outside right now is 45, 46 degrees. Just to get everything ready, we are going to fill this, falling over, thing with gas. And we're going to fill it all the way to the top until we can't get any more gas in there, because we want to check out its gas efficiency. Now for this test, crazy enough, I'm actually going to be testing out as well some different mags with it, because, well, the little mag that comes with it simply just doesn't hold enough rounds for this part, and it'll just be easier if I use different mags. So we're also going to check out the 120 round KWA M4 mags, and we'll see if it's even remotely capable of using them. I guess what we're looking for now is if it feeds and how many shots we can get out of every single gas fill. So again, one gas fill, 120 rounds. I'll flip that side up as well. And we'll see. I guess first let's see if we feed. We do. That sounds nice. It's like a fat pop. And that's one shot. Let's see how many we can get through on that one gas fill here. That sounds so nice. I will say the actual lever action of it is super smooth. And what was that, 3? I think 3. Gotta focus. 4, 5. Yeah, so they actually have variants with the stock. We'll talk about that later. But without gloves on, this thing is just chewing up my hands. So 6, 7. 24, 25, 26. Little break. My arm's on fire. 2, I keep missing feeding, and I think it's because I'm not racking it all the way back. .54, about 2 minutes and 30 seconds in. Sorry, I can't go quicker than this. Oh, my shoulder. Oh boy, I'm not gonna cut this part. Oh. $69, $70. Holy smokes! It just doesn't stop. I'm gonna have to go back through and count these. I already lost count. We're getting, still just keeps feeding. Oh. We out of rounds? No. We just aren't feeding. Oh, we're real low on rounds, actually. Well, it's like over 120 rounds. A couple things that we realized. First of all, this thing is going to chew the crud out of your hand if you don't have some sort of a glove on. So you might want to make sure that you have something protecting your hands, or maybe add a foregrip. I keep having the issue where I knock out the mag and I'm pressing this lever with the knuckle of my finger when I come back, and I think it's just because I'm trying to clear the trigger. Maybe it's just me that I'm clumsy, or I don't know, maybe I was getting tired, but that is grounds for concern. And it is just, I mean, no problems at all clearing 120 rounds-ish, maybe a little less because I dropped the mag twice, but yeah, just make sure you're racking it all the way forward. Now's around the time that we're going to test out its power output, and we have to adjust the ammo that we're using too, because we are on .25s. And we should be ready to roll. Let's take a look at the FPS in joules. Now, I think what I'm really looking for here is to see how quickly our FPS starts to decline, because a lot of people that I've read have said that this thing works actually quite well at long ranges, and in order to have good accuracy at long range, you need consistent shots. So I don't know if it's going to start to die off really quickly in power, or if it's not, but we will take a look now. Did we not feed? What happened? Maybe I didn't rack it all the way. There it is. I keep having a problem with not racking it all the way. Okay, so we're at 299.7 FPS with 1.04 joules. We're looking at 299.2 FPS with 1.04 joules again. 299.2 FPS again with 1.04 joules. That is ridiculous. 298.6 FPS at 1.04 joules. 295.4 FPS at 1.01 joules. Now we're seeing a little bit of a decline. 296.3 FPS at 1.02 joules. 296 FPS at 1.02 joules. 295.7 FPS at 1.01 joules. 293.3 FPS at 1 joule flat. 295.8 FPS at 1.01 joules. And last one. Spike at 313.2 FPS at 1.14 joules. So we're sitting right around like the high 200s mark and the like low 1 joule mark. I mean, we are only 10, 11 shots in here, but I want to say huge props. The grouping is pretty dang close for a gas replica. Even in the cold, with no cooldown time to build pressure back up, I think at least out of the first handful of shots, you're going to quickly notice that accuracy, at least in terms of like consistency with power, is there. Can it handle long range alone, just off base accuracy right out of the box? That's a question for another test. Apologize for the glare from the sun, but we're going to play around with that target right down there, which is about 100 feet out, and see with just using iron sights if I can make some decent contact with the target here. I do have the hop set up, so we should be all right. Ooh, I'm sorry. I think we're over hopping. That should be a little better. Let's roll. It's a little high. Contact. Contact. A little high. Contact. A little far left. A lot of this is user error. I am just not the best with iron sights. I've been spoiled with red dots. I think someone a little bit more accurate than me may have less troubles, but obviously at 100 feet, that's no problem. Hey everybody, we're going to test some more accuracy. We're going to run some drills, because it seems like everybody always enjoys when I run these drills. So I have some targets here and also in the back. I think what we'll do is we'll do a quick reload, and we'll try and plink this target here in front of us 2 times, sprint off into the back with my tactical slides and my camo sweatpants, and we'll try and plink off each target in the back 1 time. Then we'll come back this way and we'll hit 2 more on the purple target, and I'll try not to trip. So here we go in 3, 2, 1. Off in the back, trying not to trip. Oh. All right, we're gonna restart that because I don't want to shoot near the deers. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Rack. Try not to trip. We'll get a little closer. Right through. I didn't feed that one. There it is. Come on. Far one. Just missed. There we go. The low. Hitting that branch. Wow. I am way off. I didn't realize it blocked my iron sight. This thing is brutal. There it is. Take it back. Oh, I missed that one. How did I miss that? Where is that going? How is that even possible? So I think I'm having some troubles here with the ability to see down the sight because of this huge mount that I have in the back so that I can get the camera on. Why don't we try and get a little closer to the further targets and I'll see what I can do. Maybe we'll like mount up against some trees and whatnot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What happened? I keep not racking it all the way. Okay. So we'll crank this one. I can't see down the iron. There we go. And we'll mount. What, the other one? Come on. There it is. There it is. I am... Boom. And we'll go back. There's like a 50% chance it falls off when I do this. Whoa. Oh, the mag fell out. This thing is an absolute blast. There is just, though, so much room for error. And it's not its fault, it's my fault when running this thing, especially when you're like in the heat of the moment. First of all, the reason I was having so much trouble even with some closer targets and I was hitting some of the further targets is because of this mount that I have on the back. I don't know if you can kind of see it here, but there's a small space where you can see the irons, and every time that I looked down sights, I got confused with these holes, and I guess for some reason I was like moving quick, and I was losing it because I had the camera here, and it's like partially covering it, so that's why I was having such a hard time. Not that it's its fault, most of it's my fault, but I just thought the mount was cool. It's a blast. Just again, it is so easy to accidentally not rack it all the way. So either A, you don't feed a BB, which is a problem. It is also very easy to accidentally release the mag. I wish this was a little bit further forward. It's in a great spot when you need a reload, but it's also in a tough spot whenever you're at the point where you might, mess around with it or move it too quick or move it in the wrong direction. But I think as you start to get more comfortable with it, you'll start to understand the platform and it won't be so much of an issue. But for someone like me, this is my first lever action. I keep making a lot of mistakes. I would say overall gas efficiency is solid, really solid. I would say the accuracy is honestly better than I expect it to be, especially when I do get the right iron sight that I'm looking down, or when I can see down range for how long the barrel is, and being that it's gas, it's pretty dang good. The FPS is solid. You could use this indoor or outdoor. Obviously, I'm sure you could increase it by making a longer barrel, and I mean, it's pretty on point with consistency. The deviation with FPS as the gas starts to come out is not very big at all. It seems to be holding a relatively straight position with FPS for a longer period of time than I could have ever imagined with a gas replica to begin with. So I guess this is where the fun begins and where things tend to get a little bit more technical. We're going to start taking this guy apart now. First, I'm just going to remove the clamp that I have with the camera, and I guess we'll kind of just see what the internals are made of. I did go ahead and take a look at how we're going to take this entire thing down first. I do want to say, just a disclaimer, this is not how your mag is going to come. I actually modified it. There's this annoying little dinghy that's connected up at the top here that helps feed every last BB. The only problem is with it after it's been loaded, you can't re-index it when it's empty without prying that back in and pushing it down, because it just follows the extra BBs a couple inches, so you don't lose 2 or 3. You can just push that out with that little pin there, and now you don't have that problem. It functions just like a regular M4 mag. I don't really care if I lose 2 BBs. It's really not a big deal. I'd rather be able to completely re-index it without having to take it out and, diddle around with it. So, to go ahead and take this all apart, something that you're going to have to make sure is the dust cover is closed, because obviously as this pin comes out, it will get stuck on the dust cover. All we need to do is flip it around now, and we'll go ahead and knock out this pin just down here. Shouldn't be too hard to knock out. Shouldn't take too much force. And we should be able to just pull that out the rest of the way. That should allow the front to slide off. And the upper is a basic version 2 AEG upper, which is absolutely crazy. So this will take any version 2 AEG parts and including hop-up parts that you so desire, which is unreal. Those are so readily available. What we need to do now is take our little hammer stop out, a plastic piece, and then out the back we'll slide super easily your AEG version 2 hop-up setup, your hop-up unit, your hop-up dial, and your inner barrel. Really doesn't get much more simple than that. If you do want to take off the handguard and the outer barrel, it's as simple as removing these two bolts and this dual nut piece or whatever you call it will pop off, and then you have to unscrew the grub screw in the back and that grub screw in the back there. That's really all it is to the upper. It's super simple. Again, it takes AEG buckings, so we'll upgrade those in the future. Now, in order to get into this guy, what we need to do is throw it in safe, and you actually have to gas this thing out. We don't want any gas in the system, and it should be as simple as just pushing the hammer forward. It'll make like a little whistle noise, and all the gas will fly right out the front. I don't recommend doing that very often. Maybe just fire it on out because things start to get cold and it'll freeze your O-rings, but it's not too bad. Next, we have to go ahead from left to right and push out the pin that holds the lever in. Put that right there. And then we're going to pry the hammer back, pushing the bolt out and moving the lever forward. And there's a sweet spot where things will start to kind of pop out. You'll kind of see what I'm doing here. It wants to come out. It just takes a little bit of wiggling. So there is your lever. There's the bolt, and there is the lower. This does not function like your standard gas blowback replicas. This is not the nozzle. This is just the bolt carrier. The way this works is actually super unique. So here is your, piston, nozzle, and sear here, if that makes any sense. The idea is every time that you rack the bolt back, you throw the lever forward, and the bolt flies back. At the same time, this little arm here with those clips pulls the feeding nozzle backwards. And what that does is it allows a BB to fly up into the chamber of the hop-up unit, and then it pushes the BB back forward into the hop-up unit like this. So that while you're obviously racking the lever, everything that needs to load the BBs into the hop-up unit stays stable. And the only thing that you're really risking moving around is the connection between the lever and the arm, or I guess that little forked piece in there. So that's really cool. I think one of the craziest things though is the fact that this is just a version 2 AEG upper. It means customization options are literally anything that you want. I think if there's a ton of different upgrades too. There are some short stroking kits for the lever action, which are super cool. We could throw new barrels and buckings in there. We could throw a new hop-up unit in there. You name it, it goes on and on and on. So if you want to see that, let me know. Before we kind of start to wrap things up, there is something that I did want to mention. First of all, this screw started to come loose. I actually have to get a little bit of a bigger bit. So maybe you want to Loctite that in place. I don't know if that came loose as we were firing, but it was just that one. The rest all seem to stay pretty tight. That's cool. There's not a whole lot of moving parts in this thing, in terms of blowback and rattling, obviously, because that's not what it is. So that's cool. The other thing is when it comes to the actual function. So the way that this works when you rack the lever, I don't know if you can see, but it's got the small little button here. This will not fire unless this button is depressed. So when you rack this guy back, ideally it will not miss, but you can see the contact point there. It's so shallow. So if at any point you move it off to the side like that, it could not depress that button. If you pull the lever to the left side, like his things start to wear in and get loose. So I wonder if maybe something as simple as, I don't know, maybe shimming the lever on this side to push it that direction a little bit might be cool. I don't know. That's just one thing that I found that might be a little concerning. Needless to say, I'm impressed. This thing is so cool. It's gas efficient, it's consistent, it's relatively accurate, it's a blast. It seems like it's built really solid. It's super customizable with a V2 AEG upper. Like that's huge. That's something that's readily available on the market constantly. You can even do your AEG bucking and barrel parts. Thank you for making everything not proprietary and things that are all aftermarket ready. It takes M4 mags. You could throw a drum on this thing. The only things that I really find concerning are how close the release is for the mag over here. It's just, user error. That small little button that we're talking about just before, that I think if you miss could be a problem. And just function. You're going to want a stock on this thing. Some of them do come with stocks. This is the shorter variant. Throw a stock on here. It's going to be easier to use. You won't have to support as much with the front hand. And it is a little bit heavy. So like in comparison to how big it is, this will chew up your hand. Maybe throw a foregrip on it. It is just going to be so much more comfortable. Or have some gloves on because it will eat away at your fingers. So cool. If there are any upgrades you want me to test out on here, just let me know in the comments section below. I appreciate you all tuning in. And for now, G&G. What the heck?